might die!
In 3, 2, 1, we actually started recording at about the 2 mark, but here we are, first podcast.
Fuck yeah.
Alright, so yeah, introducing myself, I'm Seamus Bourget, aka Broadcast Borg, aka whatever the fuck you want to call me, and over to my frontness over there.
I am Matt Smith, aka Schmeat, Smitey, Big Schmidt.
Woo! We need
all
this
them
is where
ones.
we need some buttons that like crowd. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, here we are. So we're starting a podcast. We don't really know where we're starting. We're giving it a crack. We're gonna see
All
what
very
happens.
fresh waters, that's for sure.
100%. So first things first, we actually, because we didn't know what we were doing, we put out a little bit of a thing on Facebook. Got a little bit of probably a bigger reaction than,
Yeah, we got a
than
massive
expected,
reaction.
to be honest.
Huge.
Yeah, so that was good. And the main outlook on it was a lot of people probably wanted to talk about things like mental health, depression, shit like that.
All of it.
There was a lot of different sort of questions in there, a lot of stuff about might die, a lot of stuff about us too. Personally. And I think that's where we're going to start it. We thought it'd be best.
Yeah, to crack off from those points, I guess, especially obviously the first one being the first, and there's going to be fresh people on this platform. So introducing ourselves and telling a little bit of our story, I guess, makes sense, and it is what people have hit us up.
Yeah, we've definitely had
wanted to know.
a few people. Yeah, that's been a big question. How do you guys know each other? Where's your friendship come from? I mean,
I will say, we have
Yeah.
answered these
I was gonna say the
questions.
same
Like,
thing.
I don't know what you're listening to, but it's not our shit.
A lot of these questions that have been asked have been sort of answered, but at the same time, we can go into a lot more detail about them. So I guess that's probably where we're going to start on this whole thing. It's pretty much going to be the story of me and Schmidt, where we started, where we...
Personal,
I guess a little bit of our personal life and who we are and stuff, and then how we got to know each other.
First
and then
time and then the second time, and that'll make sense when we explain it.
Well,
because
yeah.
there was 2 times of that happening.
It all sort of went around in circles a couple of times, to be honest. There's
Yeah.
all sorts.
Yeah, it was craziness, but we'll get into that. We'll definitely get into that. So yeah, I guess that's basically as good as a rundown as we could give to what we're going to do and what we're about to start and all that in the podcast itself and this episode. So I reckon we crack into it.
I reckon we just get into it and see how it goes. Where do we start? I guess
Introducing ourselves, like,
Yeah.
I'll let you, since it's the Might Die podcast, take the reins and explain yourself and your story, and yeah.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, I'm Seamus Bourget, real name Shane Borg, but yeah, just a kid from Melton. Grew up in Melton, as that's same as old Schmitto over here. But anyway, yeah, got a younger sister. Grew up. My old man works on cranes. My mum works behind the desk at a school. My sister's a dope ass fucking cook. And yeah, we just sort of grew up in Melton, normal sort of family that does normal sort of stuff.
You obviously had bikes and stuff as a kid.
Yeah, I guess I was lucky enough in that sense that my old man grew up riding bikes, so he bought me a bike at a young age. I think I was 2 or 3 or 4 or something like that. I got a QR50 and, learned to ride at a pretty young age, which is pretty good and awesome. And, that's
very
always...
thankful
yeah,
for it,
yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
definitely, 100%. And yeah, bit into the sort of car scene. My old man was always into the car scene. Me and my old man had a little bit of like my old man's half Maltese, or pretty much all Maltese. Yeah, pretty Maltese anyway. And mum's full Aussie. So me and my old man had our thing. We're probably not going to get into that this episode. We'll wait till we've gone a few episodes till we start talking about that.
A few
deep shit.
headbutts and whatnot.
But we had our headbutts and stuff. That, to be honest, I can confidently tell you now that a lot of that shit is completely fucking over from a few things. But like I said, we'll get into that in later dates. But yeah. So I moved out pretty early I think I was 19 when I moved out of home. Lived at a joint with a mate for a bit, and then pretty much came home a couple of times in and out and stuff. But yeah,
because you had to.
Because I hit to a point. Yeah, I think so. Boots of all of it. You just hit those points where you realise you got to do what you got to do.
Yep. Because I guess at that point you weren't really like pumped to be going home.
Oh, you're never really pumped to be going home once you've left.
Yeah, back to your parents.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, I can definitely say 100%. For many different reasons, but yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously amongst all this, I sort of always was filming my friends do dumb shit and ride bikes and all that. Always wanted to make movies and sort of same time having a brand all the time and wanting to have a bit of a name and crew and clothing and all that sort of stuff. And that's just kept going this sort of whole time since I was a kid. I've always sort of had it. I was doing it in high school, like, it was just sort of always been there. I've always been a little bit artistic, even before everything, I guess, like I was painting and
always. Like I knew you were always a little bit weird in that sense when we were young kids. Like, I was like, what's this dude's deal? Like, what's his little bit of a curve he's got on everything there? Like, it was just you loved your art and painting shit, making shit, and yeah.
But and then I guess that's a quick rundown of me and who I am. So
that got us to your teenage years.
Well, yeah, and then obviously I grew up I left school in year 10, I guess. Went to a signwriting apprenticeship, pretty much. Well, pre-apprenticeship, where I actually went to school for 6 months and learnt it before I got a job. Got a job out of that. Was a signwriter for however long, 3 years or whatever, in and out, different sorts of jobs, doing different things, installs, making signs, pretty much all sorts of different stuff, raps, did all that sort of thing. Finished that off. Well, there was a point where I actually stopped. I don't know, I lost my job and I was halfway through. Something happened and I was like, well, I'm not working, so I'm going to go back to school and actually finish my apprenticeship. I hadn't quite got there with the work, but ended up finishing it anyway through school-wise. So finished me signwriting apprenticeship. Ended up doing all sorts of stuff, went in the city and worked with my old man, laboured in the city for
I guess the question
I've concreted, I've worked with mates Chippy and you when you were Chippy. And
that's why I guess when you were doing your apprenticeship, did you? I don't think I've ever asked this. Were you ever like, well, I'm going to run my own shit. I'm going to have my own business as a signee?
No, nah.
At any point of your apprenticeship, were you just like, I'm doing this because why did you do your apprenticeship?
Because it was the only arty trade there was, sort of. I think.
Okay.
It was the only. I don't know.
And I guess that's what we're all doing.
We came from the western suburbs, and you had to get a trade.
Yeah, you get a trade.
That's all you knew. It was you get a trade. There wasn't there was, but it was I was a dropout too, though. I wasn't going to go to art school and be a fucking graphic designer, and that was probably where I wanted to go. But it was always but you can also do that in signwriting. That's what you're doing anyway.
Yeah.
You just don't need
a trade.
Yeah, you got a trade behind you. I guess that's sort of weird when you look at it like that. But
yeah, because I don't think I've ever asked you personally if you were going to do that and thought you were going to set out to do it.
Even when I was doing it, I was sort of I don't really like this.
Yeah, you weren't sure. You're still making your mind up.
Yeah.
Your whole way through your apprenticeship, because I know I was Chippyan.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I like this. Oh, I really like this one day, and it's next day, it's terrible.
Yeah, pretty much. It was
to a point.
I mean,
to a point. Certain points.
Yeah,
through the jobs.
You get jobs that are this is a fucking sick job to have, man. Yep. I would never be here and doing this if it wasn't for this job.
Yep.
But there was also shit that's man, I want
as
this
well
shit.
For us, we always had other plans, so that made every other job shit because our other plans. Were our jobs. When we got to that, they're going to be our jobs. So that's all we wanted to do. So this shit in between was just a filler to get us to that point.
True.
And so it was never going to be good enough, I guess.
Yeah. And then I guess I did that. And then once I got out of signwriting, I just sort of did bits of everything. Work with mates. Literally, man. I literally think I did a bit of everything for at least a day. Plastered, concreted for ages, bit of chippy work. I think of Chippy work and I just shout out Russ.
Yeah, Russ.
I still just remember this fucking noggin
just
just coming back
that's the story.
Smash me in the face, dude. Fuck carpentry, but respect to all the homies that are out there fucking putting up houses and shit. But did a bit of that. I think I said plastering. I don't think I did any plumbing, to be honest, which I not really.
No mechanic.
Nah, I was always, that was that jam. I've always had a mechanic jam because that's me old man's jam. like my old man's pretty mechanic-y, and he wanted I think it was like a big push for me to also be mechanically.
Definitely.
But I was actually artistic-y.
Yep.
And it just jammed. I was like, I don't want to fix this dirty car, man.
So what about
I
now?
want to go paint a picture.
That
or
was then
film.
when you thought and felt that. What about now?
Oh,
Seems
I'm like totally more.
you're open to it.
Yeah,
like
it's interesting
it's
because I'm an
very
adult.
interesting.
I'm an adult. I'm an adult, and I think it just interests me now. And now I want to understand how and why motors work. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to know it all and
No.
be like, I'm going to build a motor tomorrow. It doesn't interest me at one bit.
No.
But to be like, oh yeah, not to sound like a dumb cunt half the time, because like that's a big thing, you know. Like here I am in this motorsport scene, and people are like,
Yeah, you do have.
I just put a new bloody piston and rings in, and I'm like, well, I don't really even know what that meant. Like I do,
You do.
of
but
course I do, but it's
I
sort of,
think
that was
that's
a
as
really
well
basic example.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't, whatever, man. And where people like yourself fucking could talk about pistons and rings for days.
Yeah, I love myself a piston and a ring.
And that's it's yeah. I guess that's where I was sort of never really into mechanic side. It was just sort of like every time I feel like I did anything mechanically, I hurt my hands.
Yeah, or it fucked up.
Yeah. It's
Didn't
just,
work.
Just not my jam.
Yeah.
But and then what else? Probably just did a bit of other stuff here and there, and probably did a lot of fuck all too. And then came across the screen printing job.
Yep.
And that was sort of where I guess everything sort of changed. I was in a position and I like went with it, and you know I was fucking once again like lucky and grateful enough that Dan, my old boss, took me under his wing and sort of said.
So just so we can keep
I
a
like
bit
this
of a
cunt, this
timeline
cunt.
as such on it, just for the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
So that I guess got us up to.
I'm late 20s now. I'm
late
late.
20s. So you're. We'll stop it at. You've got screen printing deal for yourself now. So up to that.
Well, that
where
would be
were you-
I think I was mid 20s working
Yeah.
with Dan.
So through all that, working with Dan up until you moved out of Dan's and went to where you are now working.
Well, that was that sort of thing. That business went bankrupt once again. Like, and I think that just comes to like a lot of this shit. And like, the more you realize, the more you look in like how lucky and
Fortunate.
blessed I was to like these things to fall into my hands.
Yep.
As well as it being like super unfortunate for other people.
Mhm.
Like it's fucking one of those things. But you know, he went like that business went bankrupt.
Yep.
There was like, you know, certain little bits that were like, you know, I was like owed a bit of weeks and this and that. Either way, the bank was coming in to get all this shit anyway. He was good enough to go, bruv, if you can fucking take it, take what the fuck you need so you can keep printing your fucking might die shit or whatever. And if you want to, you know, do what the fuck you want, take some of my customers, like
Fuck,
whatever.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, fully, man. And then
Really good.
that's what we did. Fucking called a bunch of the boys. We all rolled down, fucking filled everyone's fucking vans and utes or whatever we could with as much shit as we possibly fucking could.
Mm-hmm.
Took it all home. It was actually funny, man. Like the fucking dudes rocked up as we were leaving. They're like, "What are you
To
doing?"
get the shit.
Yeah, well, they were sort of just inspectors, and we were like, "Man, I work here, and some of this shit's mine or something." We just bullshitted. It was just sick. Anyway. So then, I was working out of my old man's shed. At the start, I was actually still working with the chick that used to sort of work in there too. She was, you know, like dealing with jobs and all that sort of stuff. So like she ended up taking on a bit of her own shit, and she was getting me jobs at the start, and like that was sort of how the ball got rolling at the very start.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I sort of just started doing a few here and there for mates that had businesses that I guess were like fucking good enough cunts to be like, fuck yeah, I get Borgs to print me shit, you know?
Yep.
And then that word of mouth grew, and everyone that like most of my sort of close mates and shit now have all, if they've got their own businesses, I've probably printed their shirts.
Yep.
If I haven't, what the fuck's going on, bruv? We're full of mates. I bet you feel bad now if you still listen to this and you've got a business and I haven't printed your fucking shirts. But anyway, and then I guess that's what I'm doing now. I'm printing t-shirts for continuing on with my brand that I guess I've always sort of had
for
in that.
yourself.
Yeah.
Under your own roof.
Yeah.
You work for yourself.
Under my parents' roof to a point.
So it's under, let's say, under the family's deal. Under your family.
Yeah.
So it's all for yourself, and that'd have to be a pretty fucking good feeling, right?
Oh, 100%. Like sometimes you got to like pull yourself back on it because it gets pretty fucking gnarly, you know.
Yeah.
You have your days, but like when you stop and think
it'd
about,
get gnarly both ways, being like hectic job, like having your deals that, you know, dealing with people.
Yeah.
You're ordering.
Yeah.
You're getting that on point. Like, you got all your jobs that makes it hectic.
Yeah.
And then you got your things that make it good.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just in an overall sense, you've got your own business, and that's fucking killer.
Yeah. And, you know, like, it is... I rely on myself at the end of the day.
Yep.
If I'm not working, I'm not making money. Like, that can be a good thing and a bad thing. If I'm not working, that gives me time to do whatever the fuck I want.
Yep. It can
But if it also means that I might not be able to pay rent that week.
Yep.
So I've got to at least work fucking 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. Or
regardless of how hard it is to sometimes get yourself motivated and give
Yeah.
yourself the push, there's a push and there's
you
a
have
reason to be
Yeah.
motivated, because there's that, whether it's, you know, you're making $100 and however much dollars to make
Yep.
ends meet just to pay your rent and
Yep.
feed yourself.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess in a normal job when you're working for someone else, it's the same deal. Like,
Yeah, and like I've worked for someone else, so I've done that grind, and like I think that was probably one of the most depressing fucking things for me. So like wake up every day and get in my fucking car, drag myself to something that I didn't know or, to be honestly, give a fuck about.
yeah.
You know, I don't give a fuck about this cunt's fucking PP sign or
Yeah.
his fucking.
Fully.
I don't. I
100%
couldn't
get
give.
that.
I don't know this cunt. He doesn't give a fuck about me.
100%.
Here I am hanging out of a fucking boom, putting the cunt's fucking sign in. Like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, like there was also points where I knew that, like, that's the only way you've got to do things sometimes. Like, there was points where I knew I had to live that life for a little bit there, and I did it. Like, I went back to it because I knew to set myself up to be able to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know, like, it's not all, but it's like it's a gateway, that life.
Yeah, the door's not going to open
just don't.
itself.
You just
have to open
don't
it.
stay there because it'll fuck you up bad.
Yep.
That shit.
Yep.
Just that's the biggest.
So,
And like that, just tapping on that, like fucking 9 to 5s will fuck you up.
yep.
Like you need to look after yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
110%.
An overall point on that is just fucking be happy, guys.
Yeah.
Like, do something that you wake up in the morning and are almost excited to get out of bed for, and be paid to do that. If you can find that, you're laughing, as such.
And it might sound like ridiculously hard and stuff, but like it truly isn't. You've got to really, really find yourself. It's the biggest key.
Yeah, because I guess, just to touch lightly, we've had a lot of people ask some pretty in-depth questions and deep shit.
Yeah.
And that's a very light answer to all of them.
100%
Like, it falls under all of them.
Yeah.
And that's just, and we're going to touch on this in depth over another podcast.
Yep.
But, yeah, that's just touching lightly on it. That's an overall thing. Like, find yourself, do something that makes you happy. And I'm telling you, a lot of your fucking shitness will disappear in life.
Yep. So good. Yep. So, all right. So, and then that's pretty much where I am now. That's what I'm doing now. Now I've got my own. It's sort of all collaborated.
I wanna pull you back before you go any further.
All right.
'Cause I've got something else. I guess people want to know about where the fuck were you living through your 20s? What were you doing there? Like, That was a pretty big point, man. Like, and a lot of people know it and know not a lot about it.
Do we just get into that when we start talking about us?
Yeah, okay, fair. Because
we need to get into you.
Yeah, we can talk about the us thing, because
what we did.
The majority of that is all of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So okay.
Start.
So you finalise up to now date basically of where you're at, and
we're working for myself, printing t-shirts for whoever, as well as having the brand on the side, as well as doing videos and making content that hopefully entertain people.
Just being an all-around mad cunt.
Trying to, yeah. Yeah.
It's a hard deal.
Yeah, it can be sometimes, yeah. But, yeah, right on. It's your turn, dude. Tell us fucking who you are and what you do in that.
Yeah, cool. Well, righto. So, basically, my name's Matt Smith, Smitey, Schmeat, and I come from Melton, Australia, and yeah, that's basically where I grew up. I have a sister, mum and dad, obviously. Just a small family of 4. Dad owns and has owned his own moto mechanic workshop moto shops his whole life. Does to this day. Mum has worked in the moto shops prior, and then also she works for Spotlight. My sister, she's a legend, and she's a bit of a, what would you say? Like she does...
I don't know the right words.
She did a lot of beauty therapy stuff to begin with, but now she's into your natural healing, a lot of your natural healing stuff, like holistics, all that cool shit, basically. So yeah, she's killing it in that, setting up her own deal and whatnot, getting that going. So that's all killer. Pretty much went through primary school, went into high school, dropped out in year 11.
What sort of school did you go to, Schmidt?
Primary school, I went to St. Dominic's in Melbourne.
I just mean just being
Catholic.
There.
Both full Catholic schools.
Catholic
I didn't know
school.
what you were asking there.
Yeah, that was my point.
Full
well, not that
Catholic
like
schools.
matters or anything. Like I went to like public schools or whatever the fuck they're called. It's just, I don't know, they're little details. It's like, that
was, I guess, my mum.
Did they touch you?
No, fuck no.
Fucking get them.
Definitely not. Wasn't anything like that. But me mum's Maltese.
Yep.
As well, like your dad. And basically she's just got she's Catholic.
Yeah.
All that. So that's where that come from.
In saying that, it is quite weird how many how related, not related, but how many common factors me and Schmidt have about the same thing. Like, we both have a full Skippy and full Maltese parent. We've both pretty much just got a sister. I've got a younger sister, him having an older sister.
Yeah, they're both the same age apart, but up and down.
Yeah. There's lots of other things that I can't actually think of at the top of my head, but there's a lot of just were we born in the same hospital too? Well, you were born in Melbourne South, weren't you? Yeah, same deal. Like, born in the same hospital. We're all just... we come from the same place, so you'd think that would sort of happen. But anyway.
Yeah, it's just a lot
There's just a lot of these weird little things that we, relate to each other. But anyway, go on then. That's you've probably been about school times.
Yeah, so I've dropped out, finished 3/4 of the way through year 11. So I'll go back to Catholic schools, and then another Catholic school, like high school, year 10, up to year 10 in Melton, and then moved to another school because our Melton school didn't carry year 11 and 12, so I had to go to another one, Sydenham. So I did year 11, fucking hated the joint because of, culture change, all that, different area, so different to Melton. Mm-hmm. Didn't like it. So I dropped out, and I wanted to basically work and ride my dirt bike. So I wanted to get some sort of trade behind me. So I chose chippy and became a carpenter. And that was a big push by my pop, Dad's dad. He was a chippy, he was a woodwork teacher. So I thrived, learned off him from a young age with all that stuff. So kind of chose that because of that. And went through, did my apprenticeship, had a few different bosses, but started off with bosses in year 1, do you call it?
Yeah, first year.
First year, that's the one.
First year.
Yeah. First year, then went through them, and then basically figured out through it, I was just like, I don't know if I like this, like Borgs was saying with Borgs. It was just basically figuring out whether I liked it or not the whole way through, and obviously road bikes. I didn't even mention I've bikes this whole
I forgot. I didn't pull you up
at all.
You did that. Your old man owned a bike shop.
Owned a bike shop. So
which
let's just pull it back a little bit.
Leads into you probably having a bike at a young age.
Yeah, so I got a bike, a PW50, QR50 when I was 2.5 years old. Started riding that, and obviously fell in love with it and haven't stopped riding since. So had a lot of different bikes growing up and whatnot, and then basically through school, all of that I just spoke about, had bikes, rode bikes the whole time, was pushing, I guess, at young teens, freestyle, wanting to do something with it, always thought I am going to do something with it, told everyone I was going to do that.
Definitely did.
And only pushed for that. I pushed hard for that. And basically got that in the end. So yeah, back to
Pretty much getting out of
apprenticeship,
school. Yeah, you
getting
doing
out of school
some
and that, and then
apprenticeships.
apprenticeship, doing me, whole apprenticeship basically. Except in my third year, I obviously started riding freestyle by then, and I crashed and had my first big crash and snapped my leg. Was in hospital for 4 weeks with an external fixator around my leg and whatnot. So therefore, that didn't allow me to go to trade school because I couldn't put a steel cap boot on.
Right.
So that I couldn't even do the theory work on trade school because they wouldn't allow me to sit in the class.
Yep.
So therefore that stopped that process there for a long time.
Yep.
Went back at it. Went back to school, and they basically told me, this was, as I said, third year. They basically told me I had to start all the way back, like from second year at school. I had to start second year all over again. So I said, well, you know what, fuck that. I'm not going to do that. There's no chance. I'm focused on something else right now, and that's riding.
Yep.
So I finished my on-site. So I guess I can say I'm qualified on-site. So basically, if I go out on-site, I know what I'm doing, but I don't have my ticket.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was where and what I did with work, I guess, to get me going in life.
Mm-hmm.
Now it was pretty much all about bikes.
Yep.
After that, through that process at the end, there was a big stage in my life. It was vans. Got me first car, van, to get me bike around, and then to start traveling my ass around Australia to get me to where I wanted to be.
Yep.
Got a van, wrote my first van off, rolled the fucking thing, front flipped it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do we slow this little experience, because I think that would have to be almost one of you. There was one of the questions was like scariest or biggest or
one of the biggest moments.
Or scariest or one of either.
Whatever.
Yeah. That's probably what would have to be one of yours.
Yeah, and no. Weirdly, because I fucking asked it and got away with it so easily. Like the whole process, man, all of it.
Yeah,
I didn't just skim death and not die and not kill my mate with no seatbelts on.
No, you drifted past it with your finger out the window.
Yeah, and got paid out for it, dog.
Yeah. While death just stood there and watched you fucking sling past.
Yeah, like
fully.
My van was written off, and I'll explain it obviously what happened, but yeah, there was a lot of key points that just fell into place for me. I was very lucky in that situation.
Yeah.
Like everything fell into place and kind of became like it just happened. Like even the process of getting another car, getting that car gone, and getting the money for it, it all fell into place, and it was like. I asked it in that sense, so it was as unlucky it was, it was pretty lucky. So I don't really count that as big as the deal was of front flipping and rolling the car 3 times sideways
with your friend hanging out of it,
Yeah.
both hands. Woo!
Yeah, so
Well, back it up. Tell them the story. They need to know what the fuck happened.
I was leaving work.
Boom.
Me and my mate Nick. Shout out Nick, you're a legend.
Fucking oath.
Driving home from work and basically cruising, and we're coming up this little rise, and it went from dotted lines. I overtook on the dotted lines. It turned double white solid, and it started going up a bit of a rise. By this stage, I was doing 90 Ks by then, 100 Ks. Started overtaking, so I'm foot to the floor. Fucking gas high ace van, just going nowhere up a hill. Just vacuum cleaning up the hill. And it's going up, and it was a four-wheel drive in front of me, so I pulled out around the four-wheel drive, and because it was bigger than me, I couldn't see what was up ahead, and it was a big line of cars. I figured out once I started going around it, and I did commit to it, and was like, I looked over at Nick and kind of like, we're going to make it. I said, are we going to make it? And he's like, yeah, just like go for it, basically, pin it. So I kept going.
That's gnarly.
Yeah. Fully.
He is like almost are we going to, yeah.
We made the choice to front flip my van.
Yeah. All right, cool. Righto.
So still going up this hill, and like I'm on the edge of my seat, like head up against the windscreen, just about like, ooh, like shit, we're gonna. And then this work truck
foot
just goes
flat to the floor.
Yeah, work truck, like a concreter's truck too, pops up like in front.
Yeah.
I've got nowhere to go because obviously left side.
How far away are we talking?
It probably would have been a good, let's say, I'd like to say 150 metres, 150,
like
200
the length
meters.
of our court?
Yeah, probably a bit more.
Yeah, so probably
So
about 100 and bit metres.
100 metres ahead, and they're coming at me. I'm doing 100. He's obviously doing 80 to 100.
Yep.
So it's happening all pretty quick.
Yep.
And there
So
was
cars obviously the highway
cars
next
solid
to you.
on the left-hand side to get back into that lane. So I've had to get into the opposite side emergency lane.
Yep.
Oncoming side. So I'm braking to try and wash my speed off in a straight line. Fuck tyres on the back of the van. Bald as, so it just locked up.
Yep.
There was no weight in the back either, and when you lower vans and you push down on your brakes, they lock up easier.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. All that shit happened. So I took my foot off the brake and it straightened back up. I had to brake again. So I braked and it swung sideways, took my foot off the brake, and it just shot me the way I was facing.
Yep.
Straight into the gutter, but it wasn't just, it was like
it
was like into a paddock. So
yeah, you were out. It was pretty
in the
remote.
sticks.
It was a pretty remote area.
Yeah, so it was like a bit of a ditch after the road, off the road. It was a ditch basically with a concrete drain, like unlucky the place where I was.
Like a driveway drain.
Driveway drain, almost. It was just new put in, crushed rock.
Yep.
Then a barbed wire fence.
Was it one to have the bars? Was it was it a concrete one with the bars? Like I can't remember. Like
No, I think it was just concrete edge with the drain through under the driveway.
Just the normal, You just hit the fucking side of it. Yeah. Because I can't fucking remember. So I'll get into it, but anyway.
After that was like obviously the barbed wire fence. And then in the paddock there was two massive piles of. We were in Rockbank, and it's called Rockbank for a fucking reason because there's rocks everywhere.
Yeah.
And there was two massive rock
Shittest
piles
dirt
in
ever.
the middle of this paddock. I decided to dive through on that day, and I went straight through the middle of them. So that was a pretty standout point that I was really stoked about.
Yeah.
So yeah, come up and it broke on the brakes. It spun me straight. It flicked me straight into the ditch. I went straight down, nose into it, and it just went boom and stopped. And it obviously bottomed out and then flipped the inertia forward to the roof, and it hit on the roof and blew all the windows out, windscreen, all the side windows.
This is sort of all in one, yeah. Like you gotta you sort of launched off this. You
concrete
hit
ditch.
the ditch thing, right? You've launched and almost endo jumped this van.
Jumped over the fence.
Right, yeah.
That's
what I was going to say, like over the fence.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was the fence was still up.
We had to help the farmer fix his fence at the end. There was a couple of wires that we had to fix. Otherwise,
but it was it wasn't fucked. Yeah, it was literally like the two top wires, like
top ones. I
skimmed the fence.
Almost snapped them.
Yeah, yeah. So you've sort of endoed this van airborne.
Yeah, airborne,
jumped the fence,
landed
nose down.
Well, yeah, basically to the roof.
Yep.
Yep, nose down to the roof, and it's hit, obviously dug in and stopped. But in that stop, it's blown all the windows out and made a hell of a fucking bang.
Mm-hmm.
There was, my amps and subs were in the back. The subs weren't screwed down, so they were floor roof,
mm-hmm.
as well as the spare wheel, ripping all the wires from the amps on the walls. Just making a mess, smashing all the alcohol that we had in the back from the weekend before.
Mm-hmm. Driver by claiming they seen the passenger hanging out of the car airborne at one point.
People were running over to the car when we stopped after all the rest of the rolls. Just screaming, "Is anyone alive? Is anyone alive?" when they were running to us. All windows blew out, all that fucking shit going everywhere in the cab around us, around me. And then it obviously had still momentum, and it dug in sideways and flipped two times sideways and landed back on its wheels.
Yep.
And that's where I kind of come to. So I think I got a little bit knocked out. Both me and Nick didn't have seatbelts on, stupidly.
Yep.
And so I had the steering wheel to lock into through all this shit. Nick had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
As Paul said, people were running back over to us, and talent when they realised we were alive and they were talking to us, they were saying Nick's arms were hanging out, through one roll. When we were airborne in a roll, his arms were out the window on the top side, then they'd go in on the low side, then his legs would come out on the high side, then they would go back in on the low side, eat both rolls, and everything that was going on. I reckon it all was happening in slow-mo. It fucking definitely wasn't for me. And then it stopped and it come to a dead halt, and I was back on my wheels facing in this paddock in between two rock piles. My DVD player was still playing with On the Pipe on it, no sound because all the speakers wires had ripped out of the amps from everything banging around.
But just video playing.
Just
on
video
on the
playing.
screen.
So I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm sitting in the seat, front driver's seat, hands on steering wheel, head cocked to the side, like ear touching my shoulder basically, because my roof's on the other side of my head,
Caved.
pushing me down, caved. Like I was just sitting there, and it wasn't jamming me, wedging me, nothing. It was just up against me. It
Yeah.
was just enough.
Yeah.
And I looked over, and Nick wasn't there. I was like, get fucked. Holy
Was
shit.
the door open?
Nah. I was like, get fucked.
So he's
The
crawled
door-
out the window.
The door couldn't open, I don't think, man.
Yeah, right. He crawled out the fucking window.
Yeah, he got out something. I don't know. I don't know if he knows.
He might-
And then I was like, holy fuck! I've just killed me like one of my best mates. He's gone. Like
Yeah.
I just killed him. And then I kind of look up as much as I can back to the straight view, and then I see him because I couldn't look over. I didn't really have a side window. My window was crushed to my head.
Yep.
And I kind of looked over, and Nick was standing outside there telling me that we just rolled me van. So I was like, fool, what the fuck has just happened? I'm tripping hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, realise what's going on. So I climb out, and then there's people coming around yelling, anyone alive, anyone alive? And they realise, and they're telling us all this. And then they smell the alcohol. They're like, you's drunk, you's drinking. I'm like, nah, it's in there from the weekend, don't worry.
Yep.
Farmer comes, and he's like, oh, he's right. This happens to me fucking all the time.
Yeah,
If you
right.
help me fix me fence, I won't call the cops. So we're there fixing fences.
Fixing
In the
fences.
meantime,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
rung one of the boys, Matho. Shout out Matho. Help.
And
to
we
come
were all,
bring
we were
the car
all,
trailer.
there was a bunch of us together. When
Yeah,
you
yous,
called
all
in.
you boys
we were at the
together,
factory.
like as
yeah.
we always are. If that's
Yeah.
we're not doing much, we're always chilling.
Yeah.
So I've rung Matho. All the boys are together, and they've like full safety crewed it, come out and
Responded.
rescue us, whatever that word is.
Responded.
Yeah.
Responded.
That one. Me and Nick's call. Fucking, they're out there. So this is all happening. Me and Nick are still fixing the fence while they're on their way because I didn't want the cops to come, because if they did, then insurance would have got involved, all that, and my tyres were fucked on my van and that. I was full on the dodge, and I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
So Matho, come get me. He got there quick enough. Van on.
Yep.
Fence fixed.
Tow truck out of there. Let's
Gone.
go.
And not even an ambo came. And all these people, like, oh man, that would have been a gnarly scene
Oh, yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I would have called an ambo first thing. No motherfucker gave a shit.
Yeah.
It seemed like.
Yeah, that was sort of weird that nothing, like no one.
And
just
I would have been there for a good half an hour, 45 afterwards. For sure, hour at least, waiting for you to come with the
Yeah.
trailer. You had to go to Toowoomba, get the fucking thing.
Yeah.
We were fixing fences.
Yeah.
There was time involved. So yeah, all
Yeah,
that
no
got out of
shit.
there. I rang bloody insurance, got all that. They didn't even come out and inspect the site. I got paid, and it was basically happy days after that. So gnarly and scary as it was and full on, I guess it all happened pretty smooth, as I said before. So
Yeah.
all that's a big standout point, I guess. Yes, to talk about story in my life.
Yeah.
Of what happened. So
It's a big deal.
basically, that was through my apprenticeship days and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
you know,
you were on the
through-
way home from work.
Yeah, I was on my way home from work. So although through these apprenticeship days, clearly, because Nick, one of my best mates, was in the car with me, I worked with all my good mates as well.
Yeah.
I guess, Matho and Nick. And there was a bunch of people through all that in all the different things I did. I worked. So it was pretty cruisy. It was always good. But there was always that one goal inside of what I wanted to do. And that was right.
And
that's
that,
all
I
I
guess,
wanted
what came after that first
Yeah.
accident, sort of. Yeah. Like once you.
Yeah, well, I was already pushing hard for the riding
Yeah,
thing.
But once the
before
whole
that.
I guess what they sort of said, you're not coming back to trade school.
Yeah, you're not
It
coming
was
back
like,
straight
well,
through, and I
then
was
fuck
like,
it.
well, not so much fuck it. I'll finish it at some point, because I don't know how far this is going to go, if it goes anywhere. But be fucked if I'm not pushing for it right now,
Yeah.
because this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
And that's all I was kind of caring about at that point. And yeah, it was just like I kind of said to myself, you're gonna got to make something of this, because if you don't, well, then you're going to be fucked on both sides, because you don't have your trade now.
Yep.
A bit more of a push, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff. So
So then, how did it go from being a dream to like living the dream? And what-
yeah, so I was, that's probably up to my early 20s. We're talking now. Got me vans and that. Had my first crash. That was in 2006. think at age 18, so 19, 20, 21. 2009, I turned 21. And I in 09 or 010 did I go up and out? 9.
No. Were you a
10.
year
Early
10?
10.
Early 10.
Early 10, yeah. So 2010, 21.
Yep.
By up to then, me and Matho pretty much rode a whole bunch of shows. The jet boats here in Melton. Got a little bit of... we rode a couple of comps. We went up to Bathurst in 2008 and rode the... What was that?
Australian Nationals or National... Fuck. What was that called?
FMX Nats.
FMX Nats.
FMX Nats,
Yeah.
in the amateur ranks, and ended up taking out first and second. I won. Matho got second.
Fuck yeah.
On 65 foot. Our
Word
first
up
amateur
to that
comps.
trip too. That was the dopest trip.
Yeah, that was rad as, man. I was on a high, winning, like, yeah.
Everything, man.
whoop, whoop.
Met Chook that night. Met heaps of Mad Dogs
heaps
that
of
night.
legends that night, yeah.
Sick crew.
Gutsy was there
Yeah,
with us.
Me, it was like me, you, Matho,
Black boy.
Gutsy, yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, good shit.
So that was a good trip. So yeah, we did that 08 and then kept pushing 09, 2009. That rode heap of jet boat shows. Didn't really do any more. Oh yeah, no, we rode King of the Coast as well. 2006, I rode before I broke my leg or after I broke my leg. Before. So yeah, there was two. There was two King of the Coast before FMX Nats. Then did FMX Nats. Then there was a heap of jet boat shows, no real comps as such
Down
through
here.
a year or so down here. And then 2010, had my 21st down here. That was pretty cool, Pimps and Hoes party.
Yeah.
And then I was out to Gold Coast to live and chase what I wanted to do. And I guess I moved as well. I moved in a time that I was injured. I did my wrist and shoulder down here, and that was at Frankston track.
Yep.
Snapped me wrist, had to get that bone grafted and plated, and tore the rotator cuff off my left shoulder by 30 mil, and I had to sew that back. And yeah, so that was
Sucker punched the shit out of your own face too.
Yeah, and me face. Yeah, blew some bottom teeth out with my Lebret ring. The tops of them.
Brutal.
Yeah, smashed and broke my nose. Black eye instantly. Black eyes. Yeah, so that was full on, and that took ages for me to recover, and that was due to, in the end, the real start of my addiction to
Fully.
OxyContin, opiates, all that stuff.
Yeah, and even like I've sort of said to you, I reckon that was the first. After that crash, and just you in a sling,
So long.
Yeah, is the reminder of me of like, why is this gun can't still be sore and still be needing this shit. This gun's fucking.
Yeah, that was obviously.
And it was. I reckon it still would have even been sort of thrown around, but it was just sort of ignored.
For sure. And my that was the first stages of my brain rewiring itself to tell me that I was always in pain.
Yeah.
It was pretty full on, that whole process. And I've spoken on that as such, my whole addiction and shit. A couple of times I've done my own stories, videos. They're on my own personal YouTube. And we've done a podcast on, and that's on Might Die YouTube channel.
Yep.
Might Die Production YouTube channel. So yeah, that's out there. I won't go right into it, but I will touch on a couple of things, I guess, just as we're going through this stage.
So anyway, you moved to Queensland. What the fuck happened in Queensland? Where'd you start off in Queensland? You've left Melton, a little fucking town down on the outskirts of Melbourne.
Gone up there to live
the
by
big old
myself.
Fucking Gold Coast, man.
Gold
Living
Coast.
the dream, dog.
So my sister was living on the Gold Coast at that point. Moved in with her. Was living there for probably a year or so. Crazy, I guess, because at the end of living with my sister, I had my first run-in with, like, I guess, getting off medication and how hard it was.
Yep.
She took me to a doctor. I was fucked. I was withdrawing. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat, talk, walk, none of that.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
So she took me to the doctors and her doctor, and I remember a doctor being really pissed off with me and, you know, saying she's not going to give me anything, and then realised it was pretty bad and gave my sister a box of endone. And so, yeah, she got me off it at that point, and that was from the shoulder and wrist.
Yeah.
And that was just that one injury as such that I was really hooked on the shit from.
Yeah.
So it was really hard to come off, but nowhere near as hard as what I'd just done 10 years later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I moved out after that. I kind of was fresh again and felt good, and I moved out. I met a bunch of dudes on the Gold Coast. Matt Lindors, Chris Peck, Sammy Balnaves, and they were all living together at HQ at the time, 14 Islander.
Yep.
It was a killer joint. So I moved in there. The boys said, you know, you want to move in, whatever. I did. We were all living together. It was a sick joint. It was the hub for, I guess, freestyle motocross at that point on the coast. There was people coming and going, all sorts. It was cool as fuck.
Definitely.
To be around there in that time. And yeah, so I moved in with them, and basically from then on it was ride time between all of us.
Yep.
Especially that lived in the house. It was on between all four of us. That
like competition,
just joking around. So then that fueled the fire just on the day-to-day basis, that whenever we would go ride, which was every day for myself anyway.
Yep.
So I moved in there for my sisters and was just killing it. Life, everything, loving it. Basically just riding all these new places, riding with all these dudes and all these people a lot of people that I'd looked up to for many years, and it was sick in that sense, and got friendly with a few of the dudes that owned compounds, and it was pretty accessible, so I was basically riding every day. Then met up with Solly, Kane Saul, shout out Solly, he's a legend. Me and him basically rode for, it was probably a good year and a half, 2 years, nearly every day together. Flat out. We would always ride. So that was always sick for me, because Solly was always one up on me. He was doing things I wasn't wanted to do, so it was just a push. And he's a cunt. Yeah. He loves to push in fucking all the wrong ways and piss people off. So yeah, that was good. It was always like, you know, you'd be getting told if you weren't looking sharp or weren't with something you were trying to improve on. So that was, it was always sick. Always people that would look out, but they were hard when they needed to be, but they were all good dudes. So it made it, that little bit more cool to be there and be riding with all these people and getting along with them. And so I guess that's where all the freestyle bug, the real push to do something with it, really come upon me. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to push and push and push now. And then basically, we're riding with Solly heaps, and then we were going to Shoey's heaps, so that meant out to Shoeyville. So that meant
is this all before like comps and shows and stuff? You're not really doing any shows or anything yet? Or comps? Early days of RFD? Or was there a couple of years there where all you did was just ride to get good?
Yeah, okay. So there was probably a couple of comps before this, like RFDs, rounds. Like, so in 2010 was the first one I rode. Yep. That was...
So that was the year after you moved there?
Yeah.
The year you moved there.
20, it might have been... I'm sure it was 20, so that means I think I did move there in 09. Well, either way, it was 1 year off of that. Whenever I moved there, it was the year after I rode the next RFD that was on. I think it was 11. It was. It would have been 2011.
Because I swear we were... Because like we were all... That's 2010.
There you go.
It says 2010.
Yeah, so I moved there.
So that's the first one.
That's the first one. So I didn't ride 09.
Well, did you move there early 2010?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I did.
Because you were here. You were
09,
here.
I was here for my 21st.
09. That's what I mean. And like the premiere was December 09. We had 09, 010 New Year's together down here. That was Bundy.
Yeah.
09, 010 New Year's.
Oh man, it's such a blur. It's such a fucking blur. So much happened.
Fully.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I was riding comps then, like RFDs.
Yeah. So you sort of, as soon as you got there was comps and shit happening.
Yeah. So and I was. So I was in and around it with all the underground crew for a couple of years before I started reaching out. But I was still riding at Bayards all the time.
Yeah.
And that was through Sammy and Lindors and that crew, and obviously riding there.
Yep.
All the other dudes were there, and I'd met them, and that's where I'd linked up, and we went from there.
Yep.
So yeah, a couple of years of RFDs, riding at Bayards, and basically that was me on the Gold Coast. And then, you know, meeting the likes of Solly, Shuey, shout out Shuey, riding at his joint up in Boona all the time, Callum Shaw's place now. Yep. And that joint was epic. That was dirt hits. That was sick. So that was just another step up on riding. So that improved me again on everything, because I was riding with all these dudes and I was pushing on 75-foot ramp to dirt anyway.
Yep.
And then just dirt to dirt, big natural stuff, step ups, all that. I was like, holy shit, like, why wouldn't I do this? Like, pushed to do this more, you know, because I've got the facilities now, the people around to help, all that. So basically, yeah, it just drove me more and more and more. Heap of more of that riding, and then a lot more. I was doing shows pretty frequently and consistent. Obviously, paying me to live, because I needed that somehow. Yep. So yeah, I was riding shows, and then I got hit up to go to China to do a couple of overseas gigs. Did
so,
that.
Like you took you know, definitely took you overseas. You did some things that was
definitely. I rode Krusty show, so that was one of my things that I always said. I remember being young as and being like, I tell Mum and Dad, I'm gonna ride one of these. Like, I'm gonna ride Krusty Demons. I'm gonna do that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, thanks again to Solly. He hooked it up when the Krusty show was going around, and I got asked to go up and do the Bundaberg show, so I went up and did that. Yeah, so there was all that going on. So I've ridden Krusty now, I guess. So there was almost like a check on the box there. And then it was going overseas with it.
Yep.
Taking it overseas and being able to go over there and just experience a bit of travel, you know, and all that, and do it because of riding. And and I didn't pay for a thing, and it was sick. Like it was awesome. It was living the dream as such.
Yep. 100%.
But yeah, obviously through all this, my opiate addiction was getting thicker and thicker through all this time.
Yep.
So unfortunately for me and you guys, because I can't tell the stories as in depth because I can't remember a whole lot. It's there, and when people trigger things, I'll then remember. But for me to just off the bat, when I'm trying to explain a whole lot of stuff, like even I've done it already, like through all of what I've just spoken about, I've missed out so much. So. There's heaps more to it, I guess. It's just how you could sit here for fucking hours, man, and it'd just be like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
I don't care anymore.
Yeah. I know.
As hectic as it is, I don't care.
Yeah, 100%.
So I guess I'm trying not to bore you as such because, so.
So then I guess it goes to like, all right, so you bloody were living the dream. There was a little bit of a fucking demon on your shoulder.
Yeah, still.
What then stopped that? Like, obviously, which has been talked about in other shit. You know, you've obviously like going on your crash. You sort of had that one big crash. That
not just one. No, that's where I think a lot of people don't know, and just it's miscommunication. I guess that I haven't spoken about it a whole lot. I have, but I maybe I don't elaborate on it enough for it to be like a known thing. It's just like, oh, you've had one kind of crash, and like like as you know. Yeah. Personally, like I've punished my legs. Like my legs are fucked. The last breaks I had, which were both at the same time, like they really were bad breaks, and they were had on top of. I think I'd broken my left leg prior to the last breaks. Probably anywhere. It was like anywhere from 6 to 7 times on the left, and I think it was 7 or 6 to 8 on the right. Individual like breaks, and there was only 2 out of those breaks that I didn't get surgeries, like need surgeries and operations. The rest of them I was operated on under the knife, like the whole lot. So there was a lot of hospitals surgeries. From 2006 I had my first one, then 2007 I had another crash, 2008, like 2006 all the way through pretty much every year up until 12 or 13, 13, I did both my legs, my last one. I basically broke or had some sort of recurring or new surgery, operation, crash through all of it. Like it carried through. Like it pretty much went 1 for 1 with the years and crashes. Like I was at some point broken, injured.
And what, like always on your feet?
Yeah.
Apart from that one, that
my
early
wrist,
shoulder one.
Besides my wrist and my shoulder, I'd done. Other than that, I've had my left knee constructed, and my right. Both shoulders reconstructed, but obviously, as I said, the first one was from that one crash. My right reconstruction in my shoulders was because it used to just dislocate and come out like I could be in a ruler and it'd dislocate and I'd land and pop it in and keep riding. Like it come out that frequent, it didn't even hurt. I could put it in and everything on the go and it would be sweet.
Yep.
But it became dangerous. It had come out that much, so I got it fixed. So that was another reco. So yeah, between both shoulders and knees and one wrist, the left wrist, everything else is in my legs. And like there's been legs and feet. Like my left foot has been crushed. I've crushed all 5 metatarsals in it. That was one of the ones that didn't need surgery. But everything else is just basically leg bones moving, pushing around that they've needed to manipulate in surgeries and fix again. So that was all happened and gone on. And like I said, the first one was an external fixator around my leg for 4 weeks in hospital because I pushed the tib and fib into my right foot and they needed to pull the foot and the leg apart enough so it could still grow and things. So they put the fixator on it. That was in 2006. So that was the one that cracked me off into the injuries, I guess. And then the last one in 2013, my last injury, I broke both legs at once and I dislocated both feet around the foot pegs on first impact, and that was a case on a portable lander. And then because I had the throttle wide open, it was on stopper. It hooked up when I cased on the top of the ramp and wheelied off the top deck, and I threw it and ghosted the bike off the top deck with dislocated feet and floated to the bitumen on flat ground and then flattened my feet and pushed both tibs and fibs into the bases of my feet. But on my left foot, I landed on my tippy toes, so that then caused the Lisfranc fracture. So then that fractured from my toes up to my ankle, long ways, and widened my foot. And then my right foot squashed in the navicular and talus joint. They're the bones I broke in that one, on that one, as well as the tib and fib going into the foot. So these full on like if I only did that last crash and broke both my legs, and that was it, and didn't break another bone before or after, they'd still be as pretty gnarly. But because of everything on top, that's I guess why I complained about it, and I now know I'm not too sure if I've had the fusions done because I just wanted another hospital visit to get more drugs and pills at the time. Or if it was because I was legit in pain. I still don't know that, and I'll never know that because I was on so much medication, and I made a decision that I don't know if it was
To get on that, how does that sit with you at the moment?
Couldn't care.
You're pretty over it. You don't.
Not over it. Never was on it. Because if I put myself on it, I don't think I'd get over it. I can't let it become something that I'm like, oh, what if I should have? Oh, damn, why did I could have? If I said that different answer, like fuck that. I'll never put myself in that because I did what I did and I did it for a reason, whether I knew it or not at that point. It's happened now and it's done and I can't reverse it. Like,
and at the end of the day, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. I can walk.
You could have chosen to cut. You could have made some dumb decision.
Well,
and cut
there was so many
off.
times I was told that there's talks of amputations on both sides at different times. So it was all there. It was gnarly as fuck. Like it was full on. And at the start of the double break, I was with my missus at the time, ex-missus Laura, and I put her through fucking hell, fucking hell. Like shout out Laura, and if you're listening or you hear this or whatever, like fucking I understand what I did in that sense. Like it was gnarly, and yeah, I deserve everything you fucking threw at me. So,
is that literal or?
Yeah, fucking oath. Yeah.
Okay. It happens.
Yes. So there was that. There was so much of anything, and then and I guess where I was going with that. There was another missus that I had at the end there, and still really good friend, Charles. Like I also put her through fucking hell too.
Yeah.
Luckily we still have got an awesome friendship, and I actually spoke to her today on the phone. She rang me, so it's pretty cool that actually. But at the same time, I put her through fucking hell with the shit I was dealing with and going through, and surrounding myself with, I guess. So yeah, I guess again, sorry for that, Chelsea. You know where I'm at with that. We've spoken in depth with all that shit, but yeah. So
you've broken your legs, and now obviously we're sort of at a point. You've broken some shit. You're in a little bit of a fucking whirlwind of fucking
life,
drugs and life and bullshit.
Yep.
You've got your leg fused.
Both
your legs fused. Okay, cool. Drugs and life is still part of the problem for a bit there.
Yep.
The choice to move back to Melbourne.
Yep.
With this
with
new
Chels,
Mrs. Chels.
I was with Chels at that point. Decision. I was with her for a couple of years up on the Sunshine Coast, living up there in Noosa. And it was like, fuck this, Chels, we've got to go back there. I've got to tackle this massive dilemma and mountain that's in front of me that I've caused and made for myself.
Yeah.
Something I put off for ages and ages and ages, and decided, let's.
Did you know? Did you know when you were leaving Queensland that that's why you were actually coming back here?
We'd spoken about it, as I just said.
You
like
and Charles?
Me and Charles would be like, yeah, if I go back there, like when I go back, I'm doing that. Mm-hmm. That's something I'm doing, 100%. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, come back and wasn't sure when I was going to do it though.
Yeah.
How soon? All that. Come back, was living with my mum and dad with Charles, and kind of moved out pretty quick from there because it's just such a small place. Moved out to our own place, and that was a big fucking round when I decided I'm going to rehab. Yep. Put myself in rehab. Yeah, big fuck arounds there. Again, life throwing its shit at us. So I was in rehab, and basically, again, I've spoken about that whole process, but was in there, did a 21-day program, 28-day program, was in there for 21 days. On the 21st day, that's when that whole day was the first day I didn't take anything for like 10 years, for a whole day and a bit. So I knew, like I'd slept and whatnot. As uncomfortable as it was, and then I decided on that 21st day, right, I'm done. I'm going home. I can do this at home. And kind of since I got home on that 21st day, haven't looked back and am killing shit. Really,
which is
just
now
life
a year.
When I say killing shit, I mean just for myself. I'm living again. I've got me family around me, mum, dad, my sister, niece, nephew. I'm healthy. They're healthy. I live with my best fucking mate. Yep. I've got good mates around me. Like I couldn't really complain about much. So. Yep. That's when I say I'm killing it. Just my surroundings and the position I've kind of put myself in is what I consider is killing it. Everything else that comes with it is fucking gravy because everything we do is cool as fuck. Yep. But I could be literally at home or in a 9-to-5 job and be so stoked with me shit because I've kind of done what I've done, and I guess I've kind of got to own that a little bit more. Yep. Because it is a big feat.
Fuck yeah. It's fucking huge, dude.
What I'd accomplished and whatnot, and I guess basically that's where it's at.
So now, how long's it been since you've been clean now? If we're talking.
Good question. Should be
months,
like
4 months. When did it come out? Well, not even. It'd be like a year and 2 months.
No, it's more than that.
When was it? Like Feb, March. You did it, Feb, March.
Feb. So it's nearly been a year and a year and 5 months. Nearly.
Yeah. So
it's nearly next month. It's a year and a year and a half or whatever.
Yeah. Either way, you fucking.
But killing it in that sense. Living clean and all that. So and now basically, since rehab, Borgs has really helped and pushed in a sense to give me shit to do coming out of rehab. That was a big thing with being in there, and you got to be busy. You got to stay busy, and kind of Borgs was coming in and seeing me with Charles the whole way through, talking to me the whole way through. So he was kind of up to speed with it. So kind of knew what was headed when I was heading out. And as I was in there, life throwing its shit at me, Charles had to move out of our place in Bacchus Marsh, and move in with you. So when I moved out, I left and went to rehab, living in Bacchus, and then come out of rehab, living in Melton in your joint.
Yep.
So it was changes all around. It was fucking gnarly. It was full on.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess where I was saying, Borgs has fucking helped a shit ton. Like I really do, man. I fucking thank you for it, because it's fucking something if I didn't have, not gonna say I couldn't have done it, but if I didn't have you there, man, like it would have been fucking different and a whole lot harder, and there would have been so many more different challenges, and probably popped up a lot more frequent. All that shit. So yeah, man, like you're fucking.
Well, I say the same thing. Like I didn't, I was fucking living here sort of by myself.
For sure. But it's still like you walked away from.
You held me up as much as I've held you up.
Yeah,
in all this,
definitely.
Like there's,
but
no doubt in that.
There was no when I look at it, like there was times there where me and Borgs will talk about it, had falling outs through all these years and stuff when I was not living here or whatever, was living here, and shit, I've just blanked out for the first time.
Not bad. You've actually done pretty well with blanking out. I almost had a few moments of blanking out, but I pulled myself out of them. But you're doing extremely well for Mr. Blankout over here.
Yeah.
You're doing really well in general, just talking and getting everything out and elaborating on things and keeping it in context. It's actually, I'm quite surprised. I've just been sitting back in awe. Look, we've been going for a while now too, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's...
Yeah, cool. No, that's
we're already at an hour and
See, that's what
minutes.
I mean. How good of a fucking mate's he? Like, tells me where I'm doing right and wrong, like, in this shit. Because I'm telling you, it's a struggle with me blanking out and forgetting things. And all that.
And especially when there's so much going on. Like, I'm thinking of what's next. You've got to be thinking of what's next. Where were we at originally? What we're actually talking about. What else we can talk about that without losing what the fuck we're actually talking about. It's fucking heavy shit.
So can you remember what I was talking about when I blanked out?
No, I'm not going to lie. Not really.
Yeah, we just got onto another topic, and that always happens. That always.
But like, it's definitely
I guess
about...
I'm at the end of...
it was about helping each other.
Yeah, Borg's helping. Yeah, that's right. And just being a fucking absolute legend in that sense. Like, yeah, it's been a big help. And then not even just with the dealings of coming out of rehab and that, just, you gave me fucking place to live, obviously, when... it was in a shit time and whatever, all that, and I come out of rehab, living in a different place, and I fucking, thank you for that as well. And then, work, fucking just keeping me busy, man, like keeping my mind occupied from all the shit that I could, I can happily and easily say to this day, I've not come close to even having a thought of going, it would be so much easier if I could just have fucking some oxys and a Valium or 10 Valium and just do nothing and chill or sleep.
Yeah.
I've not once had one of them thoughts this whole time. Not once, and lapsing and relapsing was a big topic in rehab. Yep. Massive. I was in there for the drug I was in there for. Everyone else was in there for street. So I see where that was a big topic, and we're so much easier to slip up when it's there and people and all that. I was in this on my own. Yeah. This is all me. Yeah. All of it, like.
Yeah, you had to do the work to get your drug.
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck if I sat in the house by myself for days on end. As long as I had that shit with me, I couldn't care. Yeah. Like, I didn't need to be around the people and have to see people to get it either. Yeah. I go and see the dude on the office chair with the suit. Yep. And he gives me what I want. Yep. So it was very private, and I guess I didn't want heaps of people knowing. As much as everyone knew, I didn't want to be the one telling it as much as I was, because everyone just had to take one look at me and knew I was fucked up. Yep. So yeah, that was all that craziness with the drugs and, the meds and stuff. I don't like just putting it under drugs, because I know they are drugs and they're putrid, but they're not just drugs. Yeah, there's such a topic there. Like, it's just like people can take that so many different ways, and I'm not justifying anything I did at all.
Well, you can take it all sorts of ways,
but it's just like,
everything's a fucking drug, man.
Yeah, so
everything can be a drug.
It's like, I guess just fucking clear that up before
Yeah.
people think otherwise. But yeah, so there was all that bullshit, and now basically, yeah, thanks to Borgs and me mum, dad, sister, big help, and a few other surrounding people like have kept me on track, and I guess I've kept myself on track, and I've back on the bike with Borgs. Thanks again, supplying a bike for me to ride, the 108. It's been fucking epic. That if I didn't have that thing around, I would have gone stupidly crazy at some points.
Yeah, I think
that
we've
thing's
both
been a big saviour.
And I do. I go back to being like, look, dude, like, man, like, I wouldn't be riding with anyone else. So like,
that's right.
I've got, and like, no one wants to fucking do this shit anymore.
No.
You're the only mad cunt that wants to still keep it real and keep fucking doing mad shit. So it's like...
Yeah, that's one thing that's not changed for me.
Yeah, it's like I know that within you, and like I also... It's like... It's not... and going back to like, this is almost... We should start it like... From where it started.
I just want to say before where it started
with so deep.
And now basically with up to date now for myself, working at Talk Motorcycles, family business, dad's business. As I said before, always owned moto shops. So yeah, I'm in there with him now, and as well as what I was just saying with Borgs helped me out. Like this has been sick the last, let's say, month or two. Just going in there and doing what I've been doing and helping out and putting me 2 cents in where I can, and being acknowledged for the things I kind of speak up for is like it's been sick in that sense. And Dad's really appreciative of the help and shit, and I think it's good things to come in that sense, and I'm excited and looking forward to all of it. So
and like that goes back on, you can sort of like I can see that, you can tell that you're enjoying it. You can tell that it's good for you. You can tell that you're probably meant to be doing it. And, like I've said to you before, everyone that knows you and has always been around is like, it's what we've always seen. And we've always been like, well, fuck it, why isn't he doing that?
Yep.
And like, now that we see you doing it, it's almost like not even that big of a deal, because it's like, well, thank you.
Of course he's meant to be doing that.
Thank you for doing that. And like, you get that. And I guess... That's those sort of different things that comes.
But isn't that crazy?
Ways.
Fucking 20-something years later, realizing not that long ago why I went about my life the way I went about it with the working situation, basically.
Yeah.
Because of one situation when I was a little kid, life's fucking crazy, people.
Yeah,
life's so crazy.
And you got to dig deep within yourself to work out these reasons why.
Yeah.
I think you sort of got to almost elaborate on that fucking story, because it sort of is weirdly important.
Yeah. How did it start off? How did we...
Well, like at the end of the day, like, like why you didn't want to do this your whole life? Is that sort of what you're talking about? What are you on about?
What? This the subject we were just talking about. I've blanked again.
It's like work. Your old man's work.
Yes.
Okay.
I've fully
so like
again.
Working. End of the day, like I thought we were talking about the reason you probably weren't a mechanic from the start.
Yeah, that's it. Now I'm back on. I'm back on.
We've picked you up. So you just lost it, because I'm like, what the fuck has happened here?
I've lost it, man. I've fully blanked out.
Okay, all right, we're good.
Yeah. To
everyone always expected Schmidt to be a mechanic. His old man's a bike
I've always
mechanic.
been good with my hands on motors. I can get things running, working. I understand them.
You're always the first one to have a go at it. You're sort of like, you've always been that thing that's like, if maybe even you get something like that, get Schmidt to fucking have a look at it. Yeah. He's always been that dude. And
I've gone and, obviously, as I said, I was a chippy carpenter. And that was all due to, because one time when I was young, I can't tell you when, age-wise, but I was young as. And I remember we were in the car, mum, dad, and now today I know my sister was there too, because she remembers this story I was telling her only the other day, and she reckons she remembers when it happened.
Yeah.
And mum turned around, she was backing out the driveway, turned around, and I was sitting there obviously, and she said, "Oh, Matthew, like, what are you going to do when you grow up?" And I straight away said, "I'm going to be a mechanic like Dad."
Yeah, as you do as a kid.
As I did, yeah. And that's what I wanted to do, clearly, because, And he turns around and he goes, "No, you don't want to do that, son. It's fucking filthy work. Look at it. I'm dirty. My hands, they stink. Like, I smell of fuel. Like, all the shit." And it turned me off, and it was like, oh well, if Dad doesn't think that's a good idea, I'm gonna do what Pop would like, and I'm gonna become a chippy.
Yep.
And that was the decision made there and then, whether I liked it or not. And I've only figured out now that that's why I'm frothing doing what I'm doing, because I was meant to be doing this the whole fucking time, and it was a stupid little decision that my dumbass young brain made for me. That I had no control over.
But even, like, I still find it the funniest thing too, like, on just those, like, moments. Like, you know, it could have just been, like, your old man could have explained how brilliant that job is on the right day.
Yeah,
but he's had the most cuntest day, right?
Yeah.
And his fuckheads come in and go, can you fix me fucking KLX 250? I need new tyres and fucking... And your dad's just like, fuck off every cunt, right? And he's fucking got home and he's like, all right,
fully.
gonna get to see me fucking son and me missus and that. Life's good, we'll go for a drive. And fucking here's me saying, I want to be a mechanic like you, Dad. And you turn around and go, no, you fucking don't. You know, like, that's some stupid ass dumb shit. Go and ride your, do something else.
Yeah.
And you know, like that one almost, you know, like, not that it was like an angry move or anything, but that one thing has so much impact.
Yeah.
That one fucking thing. And it's like, you know, like, we don't realize that shit. We do not realise how much impact that one fucking thing can have on us for our whole fucking life.
And again, in saying all this...
Especially at a young age.
Yeah, fully. And in saying all of it, coming out of rehab, me and Borgs, since all this, you know, rekindling and coming together as a friendship, mates and that again, and hanging out day to day like we used to when we were young.
Yeah.
We've spoken about so much shit, man, and worked so much shit out for ourselves recently too, like from old school deep shit. And another thing that I suggest you do is fucking find who your good mates are.
Find someone you can fucking truly like open up yourself with.
Trust is a big thing. Open up to, feel comfortable as comfortable as you can in the most uncomfortable situations.
Yep.
And put yourself in these uncomfortable situations. Fucking kick your ego to the fucking curb.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think you got to fucking hold yourself up to be this person. Like, nah, let all that shit go and fucking find yourself. I'm telling you, it's a good, powerful thing. It really, really, really is.
It is, because once you realise that within each other too, you're literally like a fucking powerful force. Like, because you just get it. You both understand. You know what I mean? Like if, like, you know, certain things that we've spoken about, like we can tell. Like if motherfuckers talking to us, we both know when they're like trying to front. And it's like so easy for us to shut that cunt down. It's like, you don't want to be that cunt. No. And like that's the power you get when you've got that fucking trust and be able to. It also comes with like what I saying. You got to know yourself. You've got to look so deep and understand why all these little things. Like, you know, you thought about that thing, was like, I remember that one time that my dad said that, and like that's why I never did it, because that one fucking time. Like that's what everyone's running from. Those little things. You've got to look deep fucking within yourself and be like, why the fuck did or didn't that happen? Or why did I do that? Or why do I do these weird fucking things now? Cause
man. Like it was only like the other day. I was literally when I was fucking detailing your car. I figured out why I think, and I reckon it's pretty spot on, because it really resonated and it felt right when I was thinking it and saying it out aloud, that the reason of my medication and the abuse of all that shit for so long was me escaping the bullshit.
Your OCD in a sense.
Well, not just OCD, but my own brain. My own fucking issues and brain. Like that's what they are. They're issues, man. Like, you know, I got OCD and I got things, and I have to do things in the right way. Like my brain never, ever stops, because it's always busy thinking about doing the next thing that I should or need to or want to do or haven't even thought of or whatever, and my brain's telling me I got to do something about it. I don't even know what it's fucking saying. Like it doesn't stop. And I think when I had the first decent enough dose of opiates, oxys, Valium, diazepam, all that in my system, that stopped for the first fucking time in ages, ever. And
which I think is with a lot of drugs. Like alcohol can do that. Weed will do that. And all these certain drugs will do that in the first instant. I think it's like getting addicted to it and continually blocking that shit out. Like you said, those problems are
I'll
problems
just
like
say that was Carby's drinking in the background. That wasn't me slurping me cup.
yeah, fully. Like these are all. I've lost my shit from bloody Carby and doing his licking, but I don't know where I was at. But it's all just you've got to look so much deep within yourself. You've got to find out why you do certain things and why. You know what I mean? Like we're all very conditioned, and it's tiny little things. Like, and it's not. It's no one's fault. It's not your parents' fault. It's not their parents' fault. It's like. But we've all come down in these little generation things, and you know, your mum's mum used to do this, so your mum did this, and now you're doing that. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're right ways of handling things.
That's right. And it doesn't mean that, you know, because you were taught it that way, like that's the only way.
Yeah.
Like open your fucking brain.
Just because your dad said, and you know, you 100%, you should always listen to what your fucking parents say. Your dad said, don't be a fucking mechanic.
Yeah.
Well, he was wrong. Because you should be.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone that knows you believes you should be a fucking mechanic.
Whether when he said that, he was meaning for me to take it on board how I did
100%, yeah. He obviously just
made a decision there and then, unknowingly, like I said. And
for sure. Yeah. But that's just going back on. There are those, you know, those certain little things. But your whole, like, you realising when you were washing my car, that whole realisation of, like, what was the point of it? You took the drug to run away from these, almost like your head.
Yeah,
you want to quiet that fucker up for a bit. Like, shut the fuck up. Why am I asking myself all these questions? Why am I doing all this shit?
Yep.
It's like, that's where I guess that's where you've got to just listen to yourself a bit. Mm-hmm. Like, and unless that self is telling you to go do some really bad things, you go, hold on, that's fucking bad. Yeah. But and most of the time, it probably shouldn't be very bad things. If you listen deep within yourself, unless you're so fucking dark, you can end up on that dark place and it's all bad signals. Yeah. But there's still that little bit of fucking light, and you've still got to just fucking chase that light and ignore all that bullshit. Just keep fucking running towards the fucking light.
Yep.
But once again, I'm losing my train of thought a lot with this because
there's so much.
They're just little points of just like looking within, finding yourself.
The reason why I brought it up, all of this, is just, you know, the little situations I've come up against recently and figured out for myself, i.e. washing the car and figuring out the drugs, the taking, the abusing, all that. Find yourself. Be able to find a fucking good person that you can rely on and talk to and trust. Yep. That's another thing to be able to find yourself. You need that, I think.
Yep, 100%.
And fucking look after yourselves. Just mentally.
Yeah, and I think
physically.
Find something that can like relax you and set you at ease. Because I think that was a big thing. You washing the car also made you realise like that's your almost
that's my fucking.
You zen. You can zen out when you're cleaning things, and you can
like OCD's at peace, and that's when my mind's at peace because I'm doing what it's telling me to do or wanting me to do.
Right.
Not just blocking it out. So I know how to fix that. I've got to do something with it, and I do now. And I think all of that, understanding what you've got to do. What you got, like, understand
what you're here for. You're here for. Everyone's here for. Like you're fucking stupid if you don't think you're here for something.
Yeah, if you know, you're like I'm not here for purpose.
And there's that voice, and I bet you my balls, it's been fucking speaking to you for so fucking long. It just goes against everything that you've ever knew, and you'd be like, I can't do that because everyone's going to think I'm a fucking idiot. Well, fuck them, because you're not a fucking idiot. That's you, and you've got to just own that shit. That's the deepest, and you know, I think that's going back to like why we are, and we're still fucking. We've always been who the fuck we are, and we've always been like very out there, weird. Loud.
Yeah, we're weirdos.
We don't give a fuck if anyone.
Yeah, weirdos. Like, definitely weird.
Yeah.
As kids and that, man, we're really weird as little kids. Like, fucking, we were only talking the other day, like how the voices and the sounds, some weird shit. When we were young, like how we used to talk to each other and just all of it. Like, it was, it's a spin out, but. I don't know where that come from, but basically we've got to stop talking about.
It's not bad to be weird. That's the thing. That's what we're trying to get at. I didn't know that, but until I just thought of it, that is the key. Be as fucking weird as possible. Like,
Yeah, like
as long
listen
as-
to Big Boy and be weird.
As long as you're not doing, like, as long as you're not fucking hurting anyone or being a fucking piece of shit, just fucking do good shit. What was the point again? I've lost it again. Fuck, we're getting
Being
deep
weird.
into this. Be weird, yeah. Be weird as
Be
fuck.
yourself. Like
Be-
whether you're weird or you're not, be your fucking self. Find
Yeah.
yourself and do you.
Well,
Do what you
should,
need to do.
Yourself should be weird.
Yeah, all of it.
Because
Whatever
normal's
you
fucking...
think,
normal's fucked.
Well, normal
What's
could be
normal?
weird, man. We don't know what weird well, we don't know what normal is. What's normal?
The norm. You'd fit into the norm. What's happening? The
Yeah,
following
yeah.
trends. Keeping up with that shit. Like, well, you don't need to like follow a trend because
that.
this is out at the
Fuck
moment.
that.
Like, you wear fucking jumpers because they keep you warm when it's cold. Like, or you like certain things on.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, and that I don't know.
I hate the cold, but I wear shorts 24/7. Winter
because you just
because
like wearing shorts.
I like
you don't like
wearing
pants.
shorts,
Yeah,
and it's what feels good.
yeah. Right on.
So,
Anyway.
like, yeah,
Be weird,
that's all we're
motherfuckers.
getting
Wear
at.
shorts during winter. And I'm not one to wear shorts all the way during winter. So I'm giving a massive shout out to all those mad dogs that do wear shorts during winter. Because I don't know how you cunts do that shit,
Pull
man.
your socks up, boys.
And especially those cunts with like fucking over your knees. Fuck, mate. Like in footy
Yeah,
shorts
I
at
don't know
like
about
fucking
that.
400
What are you doing?
minus 10 degrees and you're in footy shorts in Melbourne. Fuck off,
But,
mate. That's ridiculous.
Borgs, we're still fucking. I guess
We're peaking on time,
we're
Schmidt.
going hard on time, and we've really not focused on the fact that
Our story together where we met about.
personal, one for one, where we've been, where we come from. Now it's up to, like, we've surpassed when we first met in the whole scheme of things. So let's go back to that when we first met.
And I guess we've got to sort of like skim over it lightly. Like we're fucking pushing time here. We're on an hour 26. Yeah, but then I'm more just like, I don't know if we just sort of maybe get into the next one with that and start the next one with a little bit, or do we just cover it? We've covered a lot of detail.
A lot on ourselves, personals. Maybe the next,
But I guess if we run over it, fucking, there's not that much detail between, like at the this.
No, I know.
fucking
No,
mic's
that's right.
shitting me to
Like-
tears though.
It's just I don't know about going anymore. An hour and a half, 2 hours, because it's just like, we want to keep him here. Want to keep him.
That's what I
involved,
mean, I don't
and I
wanna-
guess it's interesting stuff, but I don't know. I just don't know if people even be here now. Are you even there?
I don't know.
Are you listening?
Who fucking knows?
But
But that's what I mean. Well, fuck them. That's why we give it to them now. And like, I'd rather just get over
let's
it.
just
short
do
and
it now,
sweet.
because if they don't want to listen to it all in one, they can fucking press pause and come back to it tomorrow.
Yeah, like we've got other shit. At the end of the day, like, and like that's it. Like, there's not much to it. Like I said, we've put it out in other podcasts. Like, people have asked us that certain question: what's our story in general? We've actually told our story there was like little bits of it in the podcast we did with Mitch. We've told our story in the podcast we did together last time about how we sort of little bit details. So like the truth is, we met at 16, 17 years old through a friend. We
Through your cousin.
initially the first time we met when we were like true.
We've got to tell.
Oh yeah, but because I forget about that fucking time too. Like the first time we actually met was like we don't even know, maybe 13, 12, 10, 9.
No, we were young as. I'm pretty sure we were like, like I'm talking early primary school days. We were at Tom's and that as young
How old are you when you're in grade 4?
tackers. Like, I'm guessing. Well, you start school at
6?
5.
5 or 6.
6, 7, 8. 8, 9.
That's what I mean. We would have been 9 or 10, I reckon. I seriously reckon we would have been 9 or 10.
But we would have had encounters years before this because of Tom's birthday parties. We both would have been going to.
That's what I mean by like 9 and 10. We were old enough to remember meeting someone
Yeah.
and being like, I remember him, and we made friends.
So whatever year that was when we were in age 9 and 10,
Yeah.
around that,
Yeah.
we first met. So Borgs' cousin, was my best friend in primary school.
Yeah.
He rocked up to me primary school, and basically we become homies. And not knowing that Borgs was his cousin at all, I went to a fair few of Tom's birthdays,
Which
Still
I
didn't
obviously
know.
meet. Tom being my cousin, I went to my cousin's birthday.
He was
and
always there, clearly.
Here we are in the Macca's trains together. Back
Not
in the
knowing.
days.
Yeah, all that shit. And then one time, one of Tom's birthday parties come up, and we were older by that stage, riding
And I think it was like a
BMXs.
small one. It was like,
Yeah, it was just
you were like the only friend from
close
school,
friend.
and I was there because I was family.
Cousin.
Yeah.
And we liked riding bikes.
Yeah, so we
did
all
that.
had our bikes there, and we were riding bikes around.
Yeah, so we rocked up
Pushies.
and push bikes,
Yeah.
around the streets of Werribee.
Yeah, Hoppers Crossing.
Yeah, so I remember rocking up, and then, Borgs was there, and I don't remember him from the year before, or the year before that, or the one before that, or any of it. So we're just meeting, and then figuring out through that day and that weekend that we've already met many a times prior to this.
Probably.
And hung out.
But
at
then that
birthday
was
parties.
even like, that was fuck all. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say I can remember much of that.
Other than that, that's it.
But
That's
like,
me done.
And
Because
then
I
you
think
disappeared
after
out of my
that-
life,
after
and
that,
we
we
didn't
were
even
apart.
realise for a while that we knew each other.
Yeah, fuck
Once
no.
we met through Capiris, shout out Capiris,
Yeah, Capyrus.
like, there was probably like fucking years where you were like, I know your cousin, man. I was best friends with your cousin. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, we didn't know all this shit. We've put all this shit together in
Nah,
in
but
future
bro, we were
times.
going a flight path with Benny in that. In
Yeah,
Queenscliff.
later on, man.
Was that after all? of
Way later on.
it? Yeah, okay. So that wasn't when we were just like younger, and I was going to the fucking holiday house with Ben and that. and
No,
then you
we were
there
like
too.
riding fucking
Yeah,
freestyle
yeah.
motocross then, man. Doing tricks and shit.
Yeah, but
Because
very
I'm telling you,
slim.
like, bullshit. I was going to like flight path was early days. I remember going to flight path early fucking days. Like, I'm talking dirt doubles and Capiris days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. See, that's what I mean. There's been that much of this shit go on in our lives at different points and periods and times. I forgot about Capyrus ride days, as just in this conversation.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very hard thing for us to forget about Capyrus
Yeah.
ride days because they were our life and all that. But just I'm getting lost in it. But
Fully. But anyway, long story short, we've met through Capiris at a 13, 14, 15, young, back in school,
10.
year 7 sort of times. We're all in high school. So it's like, cool, your old man went to Capiris's, something
yeah,
to do.
because Dad again owning the bike shops. Capyrus's
Yep.
dad Pete had bikes getting
Yep.
repaired, and I think that's
Just-
how they met. Maybe.
Just coincidence. I happened to be over it. I met Capiris through school. He went to the same school as me. We realised we rode bikes together. We started hanging out. I
Yeah,
think
so
I
you
was
were there
naturally just
over
there.
school
It was probably like a Friday
And
night
I
or
rocked
something.
up with me dad because Dad, I think maybe even brought a bike or parts or something
Yep.
to Capyrus, like Pete's, to drop
Yep.
him off or from work. So I went with Dad. Like Dad said, come out,
Yep.
because Pete's got a younger son, and
Yep.
you were there, and that's when it all kicked off from, I reckon, man, fucking age 13, 14.
Well, wouldn't have been any. We were grade 6 and further.
So
Because I met
and
Capiris in
it
grade
was
6.
actually, we worked out long ago, it was 12,
Yeah.
because we were all turning 13
Yeah.
in the first chunk
Yeah.
of hanging.
And then it got into like, we were just mates growing up. Like young kids riding pushies
Every day.
teenagers every day,
But
hanging out every
but
fucking
again,
day. Like
this is where we were super lucky.
but we also didn't go to school together though.
No, but that's what
So
I mean.
that was
That's
a
where
different
we were
thing.
super lucky.
Yeah, as soon as we'd get home from school, it'd be like, bang, what are you doing? We'd all meet up, we'd all hang out.
We all lived in a close enough vicinity
Yeah.
where we could jump on the phone and get straight on our bikes, go to one of another's house, and
Yeah.
meet everyone, and then
Go from
do
there.
what we were doing. And that would happen on the daily. And obviously, shout out to all our parents for being absolute legends when we were young and kind of letting us rule the streets of fucking Mountain Gizzy Road.
Fully.
So we were super lucky in that sense because we were so close and we had the area to ride as such, our BMXs at the time, but then we had the area to ride dirt bikes together, and that was all around the corner too, and that was all real easy because we'd just leave our bikes at Capyrus's joint, and we'd just to and from to home on our pushies, and we were getting ourselves to riding at a young age. And I'm saying this now going, wow, this happened. That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Like, I was sort of like, fuck, true. Like, that was such a, like you'd have that one weekend, or even just like school holidays. Well, like 90% of the time we'd spend school holidays living there. Yeah, but like, it was like, your bike would be there, so you'd be like,
Yep.
Well, you wouldn't have to be like, Mum, Dad, can you fucking
Take
put
me.
trailer it here and take me to a track or whatever. It was like my bike's at my mate's house. I ride my pushy there in the morning. I gear up. I ride all fucking day. I gear down. I fucking ride my pushy home. I eat dinner. I go to bed.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, and don't get me wrong, when we were in those ages, like those age brackets, I guess, we weren't just riding every night after school. There was still heaps of restrictions pushies every night.
All day,
but moto,
there
was
moto,
always a restriction on that with our
Yeah.
parents, and that was because they were teaching us, motherfucker, you don't get what you want when you
Fuck
want, like,
yeah.
and when you get it, appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, like it was weekends, holidays, sort of.
Yeah, or holidays every day, all day.
Yeah.
But school nights and that, just push bikes.
Yeah.
No motos until we got old enough to load our own bikes into our own high aces and do what we want.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess.
And then obviously that happened. And
Yeah.
we got to that point. We all grew up. We all started going out too, hitting bloody parties and getting drunk
I
and doing
guess
all the
we
fucking
can-
normal kids shit.
This is where the question
Teenage shit. Not
I
kid.
asked you before I personally started ranting on was back to where you were living, 68. This is where we're at now. The partying is
Yeah.
back here, and like 68 was
Yeah.
a massive fucking part of all of our fucking lives.
Yeah, yeah,
deal.
yeah.
Big fucking, just Boggs and fucking one of our other mates had a joint, and it was just party central basically all the time.
Yeah, so just go watch FXT Underdogs on YouTube and watch how gnarly it actually was.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because
so
we're not going to get into that because that's a whole fucking
no,
episode.
and I don't want to talk about that. I'm just kind of stating the times
That's
and
where we
just
were.
remembering where
Yeah.
we were. But that's kind of
Back
the
on that timeline.
timeline of it all. And and that house we spent. So that was kind of when we were growing up and weren't, I guess, focused on riding as a whole as much because we had then girls, cars,
At the
alcohol.
start. Yeah.
All that,
That
so
was
there
way
was
cooler.
that was pretty cool at that point because we
Mm.
hadn't had that. So then people like myself, I know I was still pretty focused on the riding. Matho was, but a lot of other dudes, yourself, you were still on whole and solely film
Yep.
focus, and everyone else had their own deal. But alcohol and the party life and the chicks
Took
became
over.
more.
Mm.
So yeah, and in that house in that time, it was fucking epic, man. We did what we want when we want. There was fucking skate ramps in the backyard. We had fire pits. We had dirt bikes. We had dirt bikes on roofs. We had skids. It was just epic,
Proper.
good living. Like,
Mm.
so I guess we've always kind of lived pretty fucking
On the edge.
on the edge and
We're
doing
adrenaline
whatever the fuck
junkies.
we want.
Yeah, we're a little bit of adrenaline junkies, you could tell. You could say, not tell, you could say.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what we always sort of did, I guess, in saying that too. Then, same time too, like cutting it short and like, I'm just sort of trying to push this along because we're just fucking pushing for time and
Yeah.
little, at the end of the day, we also had our fucking beef. There was a
Yeah.
point where huge shit and it could also be something that we get into another time. I'm not going to fucking get into it now because it doesn't fucking matter. But
And we're not saying that because we don't want to talk about it. It's just
no, it's
we're
just,
very
I'm
cool with
pushing
that.
for time. I don't think this needs to fucking go for much longer, to be honest.
No.
I'd like to get up and get a drink and have a piss.
yeah.
But I think at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we had our beefs. Shit happened, and it did get fucking full on there. But we also worked that out over time, and this always sort of fucking happens. But we also ended up coming back together
Yep.
because of certain fucking things,
And I think the biggest one was growing the fuck up.
fully.
But in the whole, because
Yeah.
I grew the fuck up and got off the drugs and fucking moved back down here and...
Well, I'm talking
that.
before that. I'm talking old school times when we had beef.
Oh, I'm
not
taking
gonna
all
put
of it
in
in...
names or talk about anything, but when we had
100%.
beef
Yeah.
and full on shit, that all happened.
Yeah.
And we just got over that because at the end of the day we had the same fucking outlook on shit.
Yeah.
I wanted to fucking film sick cunts do sick shit, and you cunts were the sick cunts doing sick shit. So it was well, it'd be fucking stupid of us to have this little bullshit that we've had.
And was probably one of the reasons we were fighting and arguing in the first place, because
yeah.
we were jamming on the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so anyway, we'd got through that. That was almost like the kickoff of the beginning of it all again. Righto,
Yeah.
we're back on together.
It was a
let's
fuel.
fucking. We're at 68. If things are happening here, it's a fucking cool vibe. Let's fucking make another movie. Let's fucking kill it. That's where the whole FXT Underdog scene come in.
Yep.
We sort of started shooting for that. We did fucking different. We went up. We did King of the Coast. We fucking travelled around. We did all
FNX
sorts of shit,
snaps.
filming for all sorts of different fucking gnarly shit. And, like, you know, that went on for years, doing all, travelling, going, riding places, fucking hanging out with cunts, doing all sorts of different shit. And then, obviously, it got to the point where that DVD almost was coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
We'd made it.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I'd finished that off. At the same time as that was almost coming to an end, you fucked off.
Yep.
And that was where I guess we both took both ourselves. Like, we still sort of communicated, but it wasn't like a fucking...
We always knew that we were always fucking homies and mates.
Yeah.
After that first reconnection and after the blues and or whatever you want to call it. But so we didn't really have to fucking talk every day to know that, this dude, if I got a call on him, there's probably a good chance that he'll be fucking good to go. Yeah. If it was decent enough.
Yeah. And then I guess that's sort of it. And then we spent our time apart for the 10 years, including, like, you know, if I was ever away filming things or shit in Queensland, we'd catch up, or certain points when he was down, we'd always sort of catch up. So it wasn't just like this 10-year massive gap. Like, we'd still catch up a lot of the times. I was away a lot. You know?
And obviously you'd know what I was doing because I was doing the riding thing. And
there was always,
free
fully.
riders,
And, you know,
bullshit, all that. And then I'd know what you're up to.
Yeah, and then I guess it comes back down to you then move back here. We sort of we rekindled a little bit, and I was like, fuck yeah, look, I ain't doing much. You can come fucking hang out with me. I'm just fucking doing a bit of this and doing a bit of that.
Yeah, and I was like, always, whenever I come back, I'd fucking catch up and hang out. And most times it'd be you I'd hit up, or depending on people that, you know, again, falling out with people and who was with who and who I was talking to at the time, coming back to all that bullshit.
Yep.
But, we were always in touch enough to be like, yeah, cool. And then when I come back, I'd always, you know, reach out. So I was here and I knew I was here to stay now. I was living. So fuck yeah, of course I'm going to reach out to a couple of my boys, see which ones are going to, you know, go, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm down. And, you know, sure enough, Borgs was fucking the one that was, fucking oath, I'm down to hang out. It wasn't like it was a spoken about thing. Like, hey, man, do you want to be friends again and hang out again? Like, yeah, cool, I'm down. Like, no, not at all. It was just like, fuck yeah, this is happening, and it's happening. Like, we're fucking older now. It's a new time, and it's still fucking cruisy as good as it was when we were fucking 16, living the best fucking life we could have. Yeah,
fully.
And it's no different now. It's easy. It's fucking cruisy. It's sick. Like,
if anything, it's fucking better because we're both adults.
Yeah, and
we can be honest with each other. We can talk about things with each other that, like, fucking, I honestly, even we talking about it that most other fucking people wouldn't even go near talking about. No, some of the shit we fucking talk about, and just like on a random off topic, like we'll just be talking about some shit, and then one of us will go, well, "What if you think about it like this?" And we're both like, "Fuck."
Yeah, fully those shows, or like just like we're not shy to tell each other that you know whether you know you're being a fuckhead or you're a fucking idiot in this sense, or you sound like a goose for that, or walking in from being somewhere and going, "Man, I fucked up today."
Yeah.
Or I'm a fucking idiot because I did this.
Or I feel like this.
That's the
biggest thing. Being able to say, I feel like this to someone and trust them with that is huge, because most of the time in a whole mate relationship, it's like if you went up to a mate and go, "Oh, man, I feel like shit," your mate's going to go, "Well, harden the fuck up, mate."
Yeah.
And I get that. I've probably been that mate a lot of the times, but that's not how you sort of tackle things. You need someone to be comfortable enough to turn around and go, "Well, why do you feel like shit, dude?"
Yeah, and approach it in a nice enough way that they don't feel like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be that fucking cool guy all the time, and
you
know, just don't feel like, because if you say you feel like this or whatever, they're gonna look at you and go, be the one to fucking change that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I guess there's some people that wouldn't get on a podcast like this and say, I do feel things now, or like, you know, like I don't care if it's saying those because I don't give a fuck. I wait for the day someone turns around and says, "You sound stupid for saying that."
Yeah.
Let me fucking tell you something, dickhead.
Yeah.
So that's where I guess don't filter your shit, really. Like, if you feel some way, you know, and someone turns around and says, "Oh, you're gay for that," fuck off, man. Or like, that's why do you do that for? Like, we don't do it like that. You should do it like this. Like, dude, who the fuck said so?
Yeah.
shut the fuck up. You do it over there, your way in your lane, motherfucker, because that's why I'm over here not talking to you.
Yeah.
Like, if you feel you got, you want to do something, you do it. Do it your way.
Yeah.
Don't be fucking, and I guess this is just you're going to be hearing a lot of positive fucking notes from both of us out of all these podcasts. And I guess when we get on a little bit of a dribble like that, or whatever, that's where that's going. Just fucking be good, people.
Yep.
And, yeah.
On that note, I think we're going to have to wrap it up. We're running at 1:44 at the moment.
1 minute. I think
An
that's
hour.
1 hour.
Sorry, 1 hour. I definitely did fuck that up. So, if you are still here, we're
on yours.
so grateful.
So grateful.
Like,
if you have hit it in one hit, like 100%, but
fuck yeah.
I reckon it's pretty good. Doesn't really matter that it's just long. You can cut it short and come back to it the next day if you need. So
hopefully it's interesting, and it was interesting enough that he's actually like wanted to hang around.
I reckon we did not too bad for our firstie.
Yeah, I think there's some pretty good.
Like, man, we are
stories
pretty
in there.
interesting motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's sort of it's hard. Yeah,
it.
that's the hardest
So
thing. It's
hard.
like it might not be, but to anyone else it might be great. But anyway, hopefully it was great.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope I've just sort of. Well, I was meant to mention something at the start, but did anyone just mention that? I mean, notice that we were sort of
Peace,
almost in the
tranquility.
jungle. I don't know if anyone noticed,
In the rainforest.
but we're out in the
dog.
rainforest.
It's fucking raining. We're in the shed now, and it's raining on
Yeah.
the tin roof.
No, we just had some very nice background music, so it wasn't just weird.
Some ambient noise.
Bit of ambience.
Yeah, but
So we're not really out in the bush.
We're
if
not in
anyone
the bush.
thinks
If
that.
you've been hearing birds the whole time, we do
We
have
have
walls
had
and
you
windows.
fooled, and it's an illusion.
We do have a house.
Yeah.
We don't live in a tent. But basically, man, first one, I want to say fucking good shit.
Yeah,
It was fucking sweet.
Yep.
It's fucking good that we're tackling it.
I think we did all right.
If yous are into it, let us know.
Yeah, definitely give us feedback on this. It would be muchly appreciated. Bit of a fucking shout out. Obviously, if you're into it, go get some bloody merch. LiveDieFree.com. That's www.livediefree.com. It's got all your good stuff on it. No, I'm not going to make some bullshit out up. You know what the fuck's going on at the end of the fucking day. Support your fucking locals and go get some fucking t-shirts. If not, we are trying to... It'd be good to... Well, yeah, we are actually recording this with a video. There is video of this. It'll be on the Patreon. The Patreon is the way to go to fully support us. You can either be like a full tight-ass patron. You still get access to all the videos and stuff. It's like $5 or whatever. And then there's a few other tiers that get pretty much the same shit. That's just you being a good cunt. Or there's a $50 one a month. So you pay $50 US. Let me repeat that. It's US, which in saying all this, the US market, the US dollar is fluctuating quite largely right now. So it's not even guaranteed what the fuck you're paying. But it's $50 US a month, and you get a t-shirt plus all the access delivered to your door. So we're doing patron-only t-shirts, which are full limited edition. And, yeah, we send them out once a month, and you get all sorts of gnarly, random, rare ones and limited edition ones. And
Sick shit.
so
And
get onto
just
that. It's
in
$50 a
saying
month,
that-
and you get literally a brand new t-shirt every month. How good.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for much more. And in saying that, if you can only afford broke-ass one, fucking do it. Support in any way you can. There's no judging. There's no, you fucking... None of that shit. Fucking get
Just
on
get
there.
on it. You get to see the content.
Back
There's
us.
plenty of other content on there that you can't get anywhere else.
Yep.
We put all sorts of... Try and do a few behind the scenes and all sorts of different things, so you're actually getting stuff that is only accessible to you guys.
Yep.
But other than that, we're calling it up. We're hitting about an hour 48 now. We have to be burning your ears, and if we're not, fuck, we thank you, because
Yeah,
who would have
you're
thought that
legends.
motherfuckers would listen to us two cunts? I tell you what, when we were 16 and we were jumping our BMXs in the backyard into a couple of mattresses, there's no way we would have thought in 15 years we'd be sitting in some fucking room together talking against some microphones.
In our house.
In our house, talking in front of a phone and a camera and some microphones, and people would actually give a fuck what we think or say. But
Yeah,
we appreciate the shit out of it. So,
definitely do.
in saying that, we're obviously going to come back for another one. We're
Yeah.
probably going to be tackling a lot more of the whole mental health sort of topics. We don't know how we're going to hit them, but I guess we'll just start talking about them and see what fucking happens.
Yeah. And just quickly, if you like that's what we're going to be hitting in the next upcoming podcast. So if you liked our flow in this one, that's obviously we'll be flowing the same flow. That's as our flow as such. We'll find it a little bit more when we get into it more. But if you like the way it went, and cool, if you think we could do a couple of little things, touch on things differently,
constructive
hit us
criticism.
Give it to definitely. Anything like that, hit us up because we want to change it and construct it in a way that you guys enjoy it just as much as we enjoy filming and making it and recording it.
100.
So yeah, just get in the comments and hit us up and let us know what it's all about.
Definitely. I don't even know if you get comments in this. This whole thing is all very new to us too. So
yeah, well, I
hopefully
guess
we
they can get at us
pretty soon, and we do work out the whole podcast thing, and we can make it consistent, and you're all into it. But we are still mumbling on. Let's call it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming. We will see you next time on the Might Die podcast.
Yeah.
Whoop whoop. Might Die.